Imagine a 13-year-old girl stepping up to a microphone. The cameras flash, the crowd freezes, she opens her mouth to sing Blue, and just like that, Hollywood and the country music world have a brand new obsession.
Oh, absolutely.
But, fast forward 30 years, the stages are vastly bigger, the lights are blindingly brighter, but the headlines have taken a very dark turn. Now the internet is buzzing with a single alarming phrase. Something is very wrong with LeAnn Rimes. She's canceling everything.
It's just a wild shift.
Welcome to Starscope Report. Join us as we uncover Hollywood drama, music industry shakeups, and viral influencer scandals. From red carpet surprises to social media controversies, we dive deep into the stories behind the fame.
And for today's deep dive, we are unpacking a really heavy stack of recent sources. I mean, we're looking at TMZ, Us Weekly, E! News, American Songwriter, really just trying to understand the shocking medical and personal cascade that has forced a 90s country icon to pull the plug on her life's work.
Yeah.
Our mission today is to look past those sensational headlines, right? And examine the real biological and psychological toll of child stardom.
Let's get right into it, because the timeline of what has been happening to LeAnn recently is, well, it's staggering. And it all really hit the public eye with this viral video that TMZ broke in March of 2026.
Right, the wellness video.
Exactly. And this wasn't, a beautifully lit performance video or some carefully curated PR statement. This was a raw, deeply uncomfortable video of LeAnn just sobbing uncontrollably.
Yeah, while a wellness influencer performed what looked like, honestly, a bizarre and incredibly aggressive massage deep inside her mouth.
Right. But to really understand why that video struck such a nerve with everyone, we need to establish the sheer weight of what her body and mind have been carrying.
Oh, for sure. We are looking at a 30-year pressure cooker of a career. Like you mentioned, she was a breakout phenomenon at 13 with that multi-platinum album Blue.
Just a kid.
Literally a kid. She became the youngest Grammy winner in history. Her mega hit, How Do I Live, spent, get this, an astonishing 69 weeks on the Billboard Hot 100.
Wow. Think about that for a second, right? Like, have you ever tried to process the social dynamics of just being 13?
It's awful even without fame.
Now imagine doing it while the entire world is treating you like a commodity. You aren't just a kid anymore. You're a multi-million-dollar corporation.
And that kind of structural shift in her life came with massive sustained stress. I mean, by the time she was 17 years old, she was engaged in a brutal legal battle. She was suing her own father and manager, Wilbur Rimes.
That's right.
Yeah, alleging that he took $7 million of her earnings.
Which is just a profound betrayal by a primary caregiver.
Exactly. And then, navigating into adulthood came her highly scrutinized affair with actor Eddie Cibrian while she was still married to Dean Sherman.
Oh man, the tabloid fallout from that was insane.
It was massive. It happened during the absolute peak of that mid-2000s gossip blog era. And it really painted her as a villain in the public eye for years, way before stars had social media to control their own narratives.
So she's been physically holding on to decades of family betrayal, public shaming, and just the relentless, exhausting grind of touring.
Right.
Which honestly brings us back to the sheer cinematic tension of this TMZ video. You have LeAnn lying on her back, and this guy, Gary Linehan, who founded this wellness platform called Human Garage, he has his fingers literally deep inside her mouth.
Applying intense pressure.
Yes, like she's audibly moaning in pain, and then suddenly something just unlocks.
The physical release you see on camera is instantaneous.
It is entirely visceral. I mean, she begins to sob uncontrollably. It's this deep, silent cry of sheer emotional release, almost like she can't even catch her breath.
Yeah, and Lynham tells her, "Say that part of my life is over," and she replies, just pushing the words out through these heavy tears, "That part of my life better be over."
Wow. And the public reaction was incredibly polarized, as you might expect. On one hand, you had fans flooding the comments of that video, practically begging to book their own appointments.
Right, because they saw that release and recognized something they desperately wanted for their own stored trauma.
Exactly. But on the other side, the backlash was fierce. Like a massive wave of commenters called her a bad actor, claiming the whole thing was a staged, manipulative stunt for Instagram engagement.
I mean, even Brandi Glanville, who, for context, is Eddie Cibrian's ex-wife, took to her Unfiltered podcast to throw some shade.
Oh, of course she did.
Yeah, she called the video weird and questioned why LeAnn would ever share something so incredibly intimate with millions of strangers. She especially noted that she's had the procedure done herself, and it's just, Really painful.
Right, and we aren't taking sides on the historical reality TV trauma here, but that commentary definitely added fuel to the fire.
It absolutely amplified the skepticism.
But, I have to push back on what we're actually seeing in the video.
Yeah.
Because when I first watched it, I was highly skeptical too. I mean, is physical touch inside your mouth really enough to trigger a massive, uncontrollable emotional breakdown?
It sounds wild.
Right. Or is this just another case of Hollywood wellness culture running completely amok and selling us pseudoscience? Because, Human Garage is a brand,
Sure.
and this feels like great PR for them.
That skepticism is entirely fair, especially when we are dealing with celebrity wellness trends. But if we look at the broader scientific consensus on somatic processing, like how the body stores trauma, the biology here is actually quite sound.
Okay, how so?
So Human Garage focuses on the fascia, which is this web of connective tissue that surrounds every muscle, bone, and organ in your body. Think of fascia like a tight wetsuit worn just under your skin.
Okay, so a wetsuit that just holds everything together.
Precisely. Now, when you are constantly in a state of fight or flight, when you push through extreme pressure, like decades of fame, family lawsuits, and all that public scrutiny, your body's physical response is to clench.
Right.
And the jaw is a primary storage site for this stress. Over time, that fascial wetsuit literally thickens and hardens around the jaw muscles to armor your body and protect the nervous system. It basically locks the tension in place.
Oh, wow. So the physical tissue essentially becomes a biological cage for the stress she couldn't afford to process while she was on stage.
That is the exact mechanism. So by using specific, highly targeted fascial maneuvers inside the mouth, the practitioner is mechanically forcing that hardened tissue to stretch. This sends a biological signal of safety to the nervous system.
And the dam breaks.
Exactly. The stored physiological energy is finally allowed to move. It's a biological reflex, not a cognitive planned reaction. That's why the crying looks so involuntary.
Which makes sense, because LeAnn actually addressed the accusations that she was faking it in an Us Weekly interview. She had this incredibly candid quote, she said. I'm like, I can act, but I'm not that good. I'm not Meryl Streep.
I love that.
It's a phenomenal response. I'm not Meryl Streep. To me, that physical release looked like uncorking a champagne bottle that had been violently shaken by tabloids in touring for 30 straight years.
Completely.
But wait till you hear what came next. Because crying on Instagram is nothing compared to dropping 10 grand to completely drain your blood.
Seriously.
If you're loving these Hollywood twists, make sure you're subscribed, because we've got an even crazier medical twist ahead.
Yeah, the escalation from fascial massage to blood filtration is where we really see the severity of her situation. The jaw release was really just the tip of the iceberg.
Right.
To understand this next chapter, we have to look at the fact that her body has been under constant systemic attack for decades. She has battled severe psoriasis since she was 2 years old.
2 years old.
Yeah. And in 2012, she had to check into a facility for severe anxiety and stress. Plus, she has a long, brutal history of complex, agonizing dental surgeries.
And that history of dental issues sets the stage for what E! News reported as absolute nightmare scenario. Like, have you ever had that classic anxiety dream where you're in public and your teeth suddenly start falling out?
Oh my gosh, yes. It is one of the most common psychological stress dreams globally.
Well, for LeAnn, that dream became a literal physical reality.
Oof.
During a live show in Washington, right in the middle of belting out her hit One-Way Ticket, LeAnn feels a distinct pop in her mouth. Her front dental bridge falls completely out.
On stage.
On stage, mid-song, she completely panics, runs to the side of the stage, physically shoves the teeth back into her gums, and marches back out to finish the performance.
That is a terrifying definition of the show must go on, completely ignoring the physical cost.
Right. But the physical cost was catastrophic.
Yeah.
Because shortly after that concert, she visits the next health clinic in Nashville for drastic, almost sci-fi medical measure.
A plasma exchange.
Yes, a $10,000 plasma exchange.
Yeah.
She posted a video showing this massive, intimidating needle in her arm. They were literally pulling her plasma out of her body to remove microtoxins, mold, inflammatory proteins, and what she specifically called plastic particles.
Wow.
And then they replace it with fresh albumin and stem cells.
And I mean, the public reaction was just a mixture of absolute shock at the $10,000 price tag and awe at the extreme nature of the treatment.
Yeah, people thought it was crazy.
Many viewed it as the ultimate luxury celebrity health flex, right? A treatment so elite and out of reach that it felt totally alien. It generated so much conversation that LeAnn actually had to publicly state she was sharing this journey with humility, explicitly acknowledging that she knows the average person simply cannot afford this kind of cutting-edge care.
Okay, here is where I need you to break down the logic for me, because I am genuinely hung up on this part.
Yeah.
Her teeth physically fall out of her head on stage, and her medical solution is to spend 10 grand to get what looks like an oil change for her blood. How does a blood filtration treatment fix a dental catastrophe?
I know it sounds totally disjointed on the surface, but if we move away from treating individual symptoms and look at the body as an interconnected ecosystem, it makes complete biological sense.
Okay.
The teeth falling out isn't just an isolated dental failure, it's a glaring symptom of a body whose foundational systems are exhausted. Think of her body not like a car that needs an oil change, but like a grand mansion that has had heavy additions built onto it for 30 years without ever reinforcing the foundation.
Oh, I see.
The load-bearing walls are starting to crack.
So the dental bridge falling out is like the plaster cracking on the wall, but the problem is deep in the foundation.
Exactly. The foundation is collapsing due to chronic systemic inflammation. When you are under chronic stress, your body pumps out cortisol. Over decades, high cortisol suppresses your immune system and destroys bone density, including the jawbone that holds your teeth. She has been demanding an unbelievable amount from her body. She's prepping for a new film role. She's cast in 911. Nashville coming in 2025, plus she is constantly touring. The plasma exchange is an attempt to repair that foundation.
So walk us through what that actually means biologically. What is a plasma exchange doing?
So plasma is the liquid portion of your blood. It carries water, salts, and enzymes. When a body is highly inflamed from autoimmune disorders like psoriasis or chronic stress or environmental toxins, the plasma becomes overloaded with inflammatory proteins.
Okay.
During the procedure, the machine physically separates this dirty plasma from her blood cells and discards it. They then pump her blood cells back into her body mixed with fresh fluids and a protein called albumin.
Wait, what is albumin and why is it so important here?
Albumin is a crucial protein normally produced by your liver. It acts like a biological sponge, keeping fluid from leaking out of your blood vessels into other tissues, and it transports essential hormones and vitamins throughout the body.
Okay, got it.
By flooding her system with pristine albumin and regenerative stem cells, she is trying to clear out decades of cellular waste at the absolute deepest biological level. She is desperately trying to clean the internal slate because her body is entirely rejecting the demands she's putting on it externally.
That is fascinating. She is literally trying to filter out the physical, toxic load of her celebrity lifestyle.
Oh.
But if you thought a $10,000 plasma exchange was intense, later in the deep dive, we'll talk about the shocking twist nobody saw coming that forced her to pull the plug on everything.
Because the tragic part of the story is that even a $10,000 blood swap, even stem cells, even deep fascial release, none of it was enough to stop the total physical crash that was hurtling toward her.
Right.
Despite all these extreme, expensive interventions, the timeline reveals a body that is rapidly losing a war of attrition against its own schedule. If we look at the medical precursors leading up to the final breaking point, it paints a terrifying picture. We aren't talking about standard celebrity exhaustion or a bad head cold.
Yeah, American Songwriter reported on some of these earlier, very severe warning signs.
Yes. In December of 2022, she had to abruptly cancel her holiday tour dates. The cause? A violent hacking cough from a severe case of the flu caused a vocal cord bleed.
Oh, wow.
And for a singer of her caliber, a vocal cord hemorrhage is a catastrophic mechanical injury. The delicate blood vessels in the vocal folds literally burst under the pressure. But the medical cascade gets much scarier. In January of 2024, she revealed that after years of abnormal pap smears, she had to undergo a LEAP procedure.
Which is a surgery to remove high-grade cervical dysplasia.
Yeah.
Right. Essentially, precancerous cells near her cervix.
Correct. So consider the burden on her immune system. It is simultaneously trying to heal mechanical trauma in her throat, fight off viral precancerous cell development in her cervix, and manage a lifelong autoimmune disorder with her psoriasis. Her immune system is fighting a three-front war, and it's losing.
Which brings us to the ultimate breaking point. According to the Boot Music News, in April 2026, the entire system finally comes crashing down. The highly anticipated 30 Years of Blue tour comes to a screeching, devastating halt. She abruptly postpones the Spokane and Seattle stops of this massive milestone tour. And the way she announced it was incredibly grim.
It was a far cry from a sanitized publicist-written statement.
It really was.
Yeah.
I mean, she posted an update to her Instagram story that was just a dark, blurry photo of herself, trapped in bed, hidden completely under the covers, surrounded by boxes of tissues.
It's so sad.
Her message to the fans was stark and vulnerable. She wrote, "I don't know exactly what I have, but it's brutal. Haven't left the bed." She officially announced she was suffering from a severe illness and physically could not travel or sing.
And the public anxiety was immediate and palpable. Fans were deeply concerned. The title of the viral video we discussed at the start of this deep dive, "Something is Very Wrong with LeAnn Rimes. She's Canceling Everything," perfectly captured the cultural mood.
Exactly.
The public finally started realizing that this wasn't just a star needing a weekend off. This was a human being whose body was in open, unavoidable rebellion against her life.
It is genuinely tragic when you look at the context. Like, think about the profound irony here. This is the 30 Years of Blue tour. It was explicitly designed to celebrate her 3 decades of survival, resilience, and success in a notoriously brutal, unforgiving industry.
Right.
And it's the exact tour that her body simply will not allow her to finish. It is as if her body finally stood up and said, "We made it 30 years. The foundation is cracked. We are done."
That synthesis raises an incredibly important perspective on everything we've looked at today. When you step back and observe the entire chronological pattern, it paints a vivid, undeniable picture of the long-term physical toll of childhood stardom.
Yeah.
You have the locked fascial tissue in the jaw holding on to decades of trauma. You have the autoimmune flare-ups of severe psoriasis, the 2012 stint in anxiety rehab, the vocal cord hemorrhages, the precancerous cells, and the extreme desperate measures like the $10,000 plasma exchanges.
Every single one of those events is connected by a central thread of chronic, unyielding stress.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
As the pioneering trauma researcher Bessel van der Kolk famously articulated, the body keeps the score.
It really does.
You can push through the psychological stress, you can plaster on a smile for the red carpet cameras, you can literally shove your own teeth back into your gums and finish the song. But eventually the biological bill comes due. After 30 years of relentless pressure, LeAnn Rimes' body is finally demanding a break, and it is doing it in the only way it has left, by physically forcing her to stay in bed.
Stay tuned and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss what's coming next in the world of pop culture.
Definitely.
It really is a sobering reality check about the true hidden cost of the entertainment we consume so casually. And, it leaves me with this lingering thought for you to ponder. Think about the child stars we culturally idolize. When a 13-year-old signs a multi-million-dollar record contract, they aren't just signing away their privacy or their childhood. They might actually be borrowing heavily against their future physical health.
Wow, yeah.
Is the modern celebrity wellness craze, the $10,000 plasma exchanges, the deep fascia releases, the endless extreme physical therapies, is it all just a desperate attempt to buy back the biological vitality that fame extracted from them decades ago?
That is a powerful and necessary question to ask as we reevaluate how we treat the people who entertain us.
You've been listening to Starscope Report, where we uncover the stories shaping Hollywood, music, and pop culture. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that keep the stars shining.